good on them. Yangon Galacticus performing so well, but DRX taking the cake when it comes to, I believe, our most consistent team podium in I believe, what, 3 out of the 5 games we've had so far.
It's a pretty difficult record to beat. DRX, I mean, getting that chicken dinner in the 5th match, it's kind of nutty. That's why they're on the top of the pile right now, maintaining that consistency. Not as loud as other teams, looking at you, Power. But either way, they have managed to keep up that record. And 46 points on 5 matches is a very solid result, right? It's 4 points shy of that 10-point average that we always talk about when it comes to teams in that first place spot. If you're above 10 points, if you're around that 10-point average, you are in the contest for that first place spot on the lobby. The plane path from Puerto Paraiso up towards El Pozo, a lot kinder than the first time around Miramar today. That was a heavy south plane cut, and this time around it's going to be a little bit more relaxed for our teams to getting on their way. So potentially no hot drop, or at least no pursuit over towards the Falcons on this one for El Pozo.
Well, we'll find out, right? Falcons did have quite a few teams around them, and it was Hora and Falcons who ended up kind of, you know, tussling with each other, but we'll see if that ends up happening this time around. And let's not forget Yangon Galacticus also coming up behind them. It was kind of contested towards El Pozo. Might see the same thing here as, well, Smile tends to drop out, and I think he's going to take over that southern portion. It took a little bit of time before they finally ended up in contention with Hora as well as Falcons up there towards El Pozo. But it's the mad dash for the vehicles, and that's where you start seeing the heavy points of contention, especially between Hora and Falcons, who are very close to each other already as they glide through the air.
North side circle pops as the plane exits our screen, Tokyo Drift style, hitting the 45 degrees, as we are going to be heading up again to a more northern area. So this time it's going to be a little bit more west than we had last time around. La Cobreria, Crater Fields, that area around water treatment, all of those hills will be in play. Teams going to have to figure out how to make their way north, not least of which is DRX, who are the most south team right now over towards Puerto Paraiso. Hopefully they can find another podium, because they've already got 4 of them. Why not get another?
Why not? Get another one. 4 out of the 6. That would be huge for them. And again, smash point, day 3. We look at DRX to potentially be the ones to close it out if they could be number 1 setting the point threshold. For DRX, this is going to be a tough going for them. They've got to go all the way up north, as you said. That means passing Team Secret, potentially Alter Egos. You got E Arena, maybe running into Thunder Talk, Fireflux. They might take a long rotate towards the shoreline and go all the way up towards north. That might be their best line of attack. For Hora, well, they go a bit more north this time around than they did last time, because you remember they were south of Falcons, ended up pursuing them into El Pozo. This time, Hora change up their landing spot, and they're going to be just above them, which is going to be great for them. So much real estate that they can utilize, and Hora need a good game here. They're, again, towards the bottom, but setting themselves up nicely for day 2 would be a tremendous win on game 6, and the possibility is here.
Yangon Galacticos gathering vehicles, getting a little bit of loot on board. They're still yet to fully go for this loot phase. They're going to head south down towards Valle de Mar and play this one in a little bit later on. They love seeing the blue zone, right? They
yes,
absolutely love it for Yangon Galacticos. As soon as they see that blue zone coming, they're heading straight towards it. So they will be very chill about surviving out in this area. A likely west road rotate, so expect to see them heading up towards La Cobreria around minute 8. I think that's where we'll see them up towards that north side. So potential conflict with Hora and Falcons on the west edge.
That's right, and I think that's going to be a pretty big narrative throughout not only today in our game number 6, but going into day 2 and day 3 of our grand finals. I am excited to watch APG potentially clash with Ragnum Karya. 2 aggressive rosters, and with the way APG was challenging fights in our previous game at Map 5 Miramar, got me excited for the prospect of what their aggression is going to hold in this final game, game number 6. They're going to have to go up north. Ragnum Karya might choose to gatekeep them. And let's not forget 4 Thrives. I know I haven't seen too much from them today, but another roster that showed incredible aggression and good ability to hold and control fights during the group play stages. They're also going to be in that vicinity. So APG, Ragnum Karya, 4 Thrives, potentially clashing maybe a little bit later.
Have to wait and see what their path will hold for them. Looks like Ragnum Karya on the road faster than APG, and it might be 4 Thrives that does in fact come into conflict with them. as always, it's a question of which path they take towards this circle. Fighting this early, you don't really want to get stuck down in it, right? You don't want to get bogged down early. Going down within that first phase is really detrimental to your overall tournament performances, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see them wait their turn, right, in this scenario. Wait for teams to push it behind them and get a little bit more drawn back, I think it's safe to say, from those engagements. I'm looking around the map right now. I'm seeing DRX leaving Puerto Paraiso. They've headed up past Impala on the east side right now, and they are trying to slot themselves in over towards El Azahar, potentially all the way up towards Cruz del Valle, and we'll see if they can make their way on up to the podium once more. There's not too many teams are going to contest them on that.
Yeah, no surprise, DRX, that was their safest rotation. That's exactly what they ended up doing, going across that shoreline and going up most likely towards the north above. Maybe Alter Egos, maybe even a little bit further on towards maybe the northern portion of where Weibo is currently at. For 4 Thrives, full send it straight in. They're going to be very close to Noxian Red Force. In fact, Benny already throwing out some nades, and Naki's taking damage.
Naki does answer, though, with a nade of his own. Unfortunately, it's in through the window, and he's up on the high ground there. A nade up high, and they do think he's on the inside of this one. Benny could potentially catch them unawares. The Molotov, they think they're burning him out of position, but he's got IQ on lockdown right now. Steps up but misses. Now they'll know he's up on high. Noki now with a chance to turn things around, but more nades are cooking.
Oh,
this is the last one in the pocket from Beanie, and IQ has to dodge it. Will be able to survive. XZY on the off angle. Doesn't quite connect on it either. To Noxian Red Force, not really getting too much with the opening salvo. That one's good though, and a chance now for Noxian to take this into control.
T24 on the ground alongside that of Phallic. You've got to appreciate the high ground from Benny. He's not going to relinquish that. He's going to be truly the linchpin into success, at least I assume, in this fight, in this engagement. IQ's down and out. No way he's going to get back up, and in fact, he's going to be fully finished off. 4 Thrives, the one good thing they do have going for them is they have Wolfpack together. So any players from Noxian Red Force, if they push it as a solo, you'd have to assume you're going to be shot by 3 people at the same exact time. T24 Phallic gotta hold the low ground though. XCY pushing in. Tizzy starting to also get active. T24 takes some damage. In fact, outputs some damage on Tizzy. Doc going in. T24 down. Benny drops out from his high ground, takes a little bit of damage, but through the smoke, hits the shot needed to drop Naki. 4 Thrives are out.
Once more, 4 Thrives fall, and Noxian Red Force keeping all 4 of their players alive there. It got a little bit hairy with T24 doing so much work on the low ground, but they do manage to survive as 4, which is huge news from them. In the meantime, Alter Ego losing a player. Team Secret able to take control of the compound here to the west of Cruz del Valle on the north side of that circle. Potential conflict for them with DRX in the next few minutes, but for now, Alter Ego busted down to 3.
Alter Egos, a good day today so far.
Ooh.
Love to finish off with the 3 stack. Performing well, Wild hitting great shots. Fireflux, who had a tremendous game number 5. Looking to do a little bit of a better job here. Regnum Karia also up ahead. You notice every single team minus APG has just directly sent it straight into the center of this zone. They want those buildings. They want the hard cover. And that's why 4 Thrives was so antsy to get in and challenge Noxian Red Force. It doesn't pay off, but you get the idea. So Regnum Karia, Fireflux now, they want to take over this spot if they can get it, but it's not going to be easy.
Over in San Martin, they're going to have to fight for their way out here. Circle coming on in very, very soon. Alter Ego actually potentially under threat now for DRX. I said around minute 8 for Yangon Galacticos. That has now passed.
Look at that.
But a hard northeast shift. They're going to have to go a long, long way. I don't think they're going to see this circle until about minute 10. This could actually start to get a bit hairy on the west side for Yangon Galacticos. They might need to cut an earlier rotation, maybe potentially through Montenuevo, unless they want to get really, really down to the wire with this one. It's not looking super healthy. DRX, they suffer the most on the northeast side. They try and push in past Alter Ego. It's gone poorly.
I was hoping Fireflux would take advantage of this zone shift and get ahead of Regnum Karia, who managed to get a knock onto one of the Fireflux members. Naturally, they're going to be back up. But Regnum Karia, head on a swivel, decides to full send it in, staying ahead of Fireflux, making sure that if engagement does happen, they're going to be the tip of the spears in that fight. Thundertalk King's going to knock down one from Alter Egos. Moana is going to fall, leaving Alter Egos with just 1.
Both of those 2 teams on the northeast side have dropped players. Two are remaining for DRX. They do manage to get through, but they're only playing as a duo. Alter Ego try and move in as well, but all under the watchful eyes of Thundertalk, who have only been able to extract 2 points from it, but they've opened up the east side nicely for themselves to stay alive for a lot longer. E-Arena to their south shouldn't pose too much of a worry for them. The hillsides will keep them safe. Take a look at the replay. Okay, little spin out in the open, catches the rear tire, a nice little pickup for Alva.
And Alva will be the last one alive for Alter Ego. So if he could pull off shots like that, even as a solo, he could be truly devastating to the complete rosters who are 3 and 4 stacks outside of DRX, right? Everybody else has 3 or 4 members. Falcons does have a down player, and I don't know if it was due to, well, actually it might be because of Hora, who has started to move in. Hora and Falcons, even off the start of the last game, and then of course going into this game, you knew they were going to have a clash at some point. At a certain moment, Falcons or Hora have to put their foot down and establish dominance over this engagement and rotation to force a change for the other roster. Team Secret also moving in.
Nade over the top, this could be good. Onto Ralph, does manage to blast him out of the buggy. Redox hopping in, repositioning it, getting a little bit more cover down the hill. They've dropped a smoke almost immediately, and the Falcons scrambling to pick this one back up. I don't think they're going to be able to commit to get Ralph back. There's too many off angles to contend with. Redox in the front of the buggy. His teammates keeping him safe though. An over-aggressive push from Team Secret drops them a player, but again, it's those off angles coming on in, and it's Sleepy to catch Redox sleeping.
Yeah, Sleepy has been a nuisance. A nuisance from a distance. Cirrus caught out in the open. Sky takes him out. Hora potentially profiting off of this third party in a big way. They're already at 2 eliminations. They continue to push up to pressure and potentially get the full finishes on Team Secret.
Where are Yangon Galacticos? They should be in this fight right now.
In the blue zone.
Going up and towards the 12th minute, and they have yet to enter this circle. It's going to get a little bit too hard to overheal this one, and again, they're on the far side of things. You can see them all the way out onto the west, and they could really have an impact here if they crash into the back of Hora.
Team Falcons just trying to stay alive. Just a duo. They're out of there. Koa, Narvalo managed to find a little bit of respite in the hard cover. But meanwhile, for Hora and Team Secret, Hora has done so much damage on the Team Secret roster that you have to favor them in this moment. And while they continue to push up, they refuse to bow the knee. And for Drake, he's going to go ahead and join Frankie up ahead as Team Secret start to recover just a little bit, but only just.
Unwedging the vehicle there, it looks like. They will keep themselves nice and mobile. Team Secret on the northwest side. Hora going to try and push on through. Weibo, with all 4 players alive, playing on the southwest side right now. East edge of water treatment as well. A nice ridgeline under control. Power, they're a little bit more central. They are under the watchful eyes of Weibo, but they don't have to move. They will be able to chill out for the time being. We know how much they like to get stuck in though, so maybe things could get a little bit hot.
Well, I just love the fact that they're as central as they are. So the next stage most likely still going to favor that of power, which is going to be interesting because Yangon Galacticos finally get out of the blue zone after, what, the 14th minute, start to move in towards water treatment. You got Fireflux, Weibo, who's still in the area. You've got plenty of teams. Power might potentially be able to gatekeep. This might be a tremendous game for Power depending on how they choose to play it.
My eyes are on E-Arena right now, and so is the camera, luckily, because they have severely underperformed expectations.
Without a doubt.
Coming through from the survival stages, they were looking good, they were looking powerful. I mean, obviously, you've got a couple of standout players. I think Mormon is probably a very notable player on the roster of E-Arena. They have been in disarray so far today. So to close out day 1 with a strong game, I think would be necessary for them to even be in the conversation for the front page, potentially.
I agree, yeah.
At this stage, though, they are going to have to hold their nerve against IDA, against APG, against Nongshim Red Force. I think they've got the chops, but the question is, can they deliver today when they've been so weak up until now?
APG's getting dangerously close to E-Arena. They're fully committing for this fight. They can back off if they want to, but you got to fight this quickly. And E-Arena, as they reposition, go straight into a couple from IDA. Like you mentioned, Nongshim Red Force is going to be coming in from the south portion, still in blue, but eventually they will be up in this fight as well. So if you're APG, you don't want to get pincered between not only Nongshim Red Force, but also E-Arena. If you're E-Arena, you're still in a decent spot. Stay ahead of your competition so you can gatekeep them.
take a look at the circle yet again. It's going to come through very, very quickly. Last player for Alter Ego rotating out to the east, trying to move away as a solo. The circle comes on through, and it's very central. It's the teams on the outside that are going to get cut through here. Yangon Galacticos, I think, have one of the most difficult maneuvers to make. They are sitting currently around water treatment, trying to push past Weibo, who are giving ground. They're regrouping on the southwest, to be fair to them. So maybe a little opening for Yangon Galacticos to push on up. In the meantime, back over towards the arena, they are managing to do a little bit of damage.
APG starts to get active onto Noxium Red Force, a team that was in blue for a long time. Not as long as Yangon Galacticos, but still a long time nonetheless. They finally get into the zone, straight into the damage of Reefus, who is mowing down players and can't get the full finishes, but at least taking those valuable hills away from the team of Noxium Red Force. I did notice Power started to fire some shots, I believe, on Weibo, just up ahead as well. So a lot of fights going down. APG, in my opinion, has the advantage of Noxium Red Force, who has to continually push up, and Reefus is unrelenting with the shots.
Yeah, they've got the high ground on them. It's going to be a question of getting picks, but they're just not being found. And Noxium Red Force are starting to fall. They're starting to wane on the east side. Fireflux getting involved on this flank. It's mad dashes now. There's really nothing you can do. You just have to try and sneak your way through, find a little window of something, but it's so difficult to make it work. Doc's up into the building, but I don't think that's going to last too long. They have him on the ground floor. They've got him locked in, and APG can keep this one going. I think the biggest question mark in this spot is what are Fireflux going to do?
Yes, absolutely. Fireflux has already managed to get a couple of downs on Noxium Red Force, but E-Arena has also backed up. On board with Doc. Doc holds his ground from Noxium Red Force. They're not done just yet. You still have, I believe, one more player remaining, but very low health. And in fact, he's going to be finished off. Now, Terry, he's down. You mentioned what would Fireflux do? Well, they choose to challenge the forward members of the arena, who pushed out of their hard cover, mind you, getting overly aggressive and now getting potentially punished.
Fireflux, pretty nasty with the nades. The ordnance is on point, and on the south side, they are opening the door to push on in. Maybe even move through their reses as well. They've got Solus down. I think that's already getting picked back on up. And E-Arena, they're blasted down to 2. No elims on this fight. They had a hold onto a 3-way engagement, and they have not got any value for it. It's not looking good.
I just don't understand why they felt the need to send 2 players forward. Maybe they were expecting to have a bit more of an off angle with the third party, but Fireflux is ready for them and gunned them down. Good utility on the nades as well. E-Arena, in my opinion, waste a tremendous opportunity. They had the setup. They're well within the zone. Fireflux, APG, once these fights conclude, are pushing directly into you. There was no reason to send 2 players up ahead, but they did it anyways. And now Joker and Mormon have to go at it alone.
After a big elim game last time around, Fireflux looking to try and convert. They've already posted 6. Sure, they've lost a player, but they will be able to march on forwards. You'd imagine that they're going to try and crash onto the E-Arena position, or maybe not crash, but walk up to at least. However, as 3 players, that's going to be a lot harder than it would have been as 4. APG do have the numbers, but they are trapped on the far side of the road. It's going to be a lot harder for them to get across unscathed.
And I do wonder about Order, who's kind of being a little bit weird hanging out off in the distance. You know, a couple of shots could put a team in disarray. Sleepy challenging that at Team Secret. Hora and Team Secret have been opposite of each other for quite some time. They've managed to get a lot of damage and even at times a couple of knocks, but they both managed to get back up, and they're going to be both 4 stacks challenging each other straight ahead. For Yangon Galacticos, 2 members that might be able to fire onto Jaiki depending, but for Xeris, well, he's going to be up ahead looking to take down Hora. Let's see who wins the engagement.
Team Secret committing up towards Hora as they rotate away from the outpost of Yangon Galacticos. 4 positions for Team Secret, not quite getting the angles just yet. Thundertalker off in the distance as well. Could be a little bit of crunch on towards Hora. Romeo's been spotted, no fear. Able to tap him away, back him off the angle. I think Thundertalk want to get involved here. They are starting to flex their muscles, and they do need to leave.
Still have Alva as a solo. Not going to have an effect as of yet, but Alva, he's been devastating. We witnessed him take down 2 members, I believe, of another roster just a little bit earlier, but now he's going to be going dead center. So he won't have an impact here, but you're right, for Thunder Talk. Now Hora is pincered. Team Secret on one end, on the other is Thunder Talk. Hora in dire straits, and they have to make a choice. Who do they challenge? But whoever they end up going for, they've got to finish them quickly because they have to expect the team behind them to push up.
As the shots coming through from the off angle, over the way. Team Secret making things hard, but Drakey actually gets spotted and pinked out by No Fear. Has to take a little bit of cover. Yangon Galacticos still have their duo from the distance, but that's going to slow Team Secret down.
That's right.
It's actually going to push them away from this spot as well.
Well, in all honesty, it helps Team Secret because those shots that were coming out from Order, I believe, was going to melt that buggy if it wasn't for Yangon Galacticos keeping that player down from Team Order. So Team Secret forced to park the bus once again, and, well, they're in a little bit of a tricky spot, aren't they? They've got No Fear gunning them down. Yangon Galacticos also looking down into the ravine. Team Secret, I don't think they make it out.
Back on the southeast side, it looks like E-Arena going to get pushed. Going to get taken low, and they may have got some nades on in, and Scarface actually getting flushed. So, another point added at least for E-Arena. Fireflux in pretty dire straits. E-Arena may be winning this hold on the southeast side as Fireflux are eliminated. But with only one more player left standing, it is Mormon, but E-Arena can hold their heads high for the time being.
Yeah, and it's Order who's still from Weibo Gaming who's going to be hanging out on the outskirts, and I do wonder if he's going to get the final finish onto the solo Mormon. Sook starts to move in, so Mormon, he's going to be at a 1v2. Meanwhile, once again, Team Secret surprisingly and miraculously able to recover. I surely thought they were going to be finished off, but they're not. They managed to stand up, but they're still in dire straits in a very, very difficult spot between Hora and Yangon Galacticos. Once again, for Team Secret, I just don't know how they're going to get out of this situation.
Thundertalk did not engage on Zahora in that scenario. On the north side, Thundertalk instead opting to push a little bit further south, potentially towards Alva, the solo for Alter Ego. But instead, they've just allowed Aura to move on up towards Yangon Galacticos and take a free aggression push for them. This Team Secret try and play
nice shots
on the other side of it. Caught in the middle. Smile goes down first, though, on the far side of this engagement.
Yeah, well done from Jiggle. Catches the head and takes him out through the window. You mentioned Thundertalk not choosing to crash in. Well, they do so, and Hora reads it out, and you're going to have two players, Sky and No Fear, who's going to try and hold Thundertalk at bay. AJ down to a sliver of health, but managed to recover quite nicely. The only concern I have for Hora is they are split up 2-2. One focus on Team Secret as well as Yangon Galacticos. The other purely focused on Thundertalk, and Thundertalk is going to manage to take down No Fear. Sleepy is going to get taken out by Team Secret, and an aggressive push from Drang, who takes down the Shed players, and all of a sudden, the tides will turn, and Hora in dire straits as only one more player is alive.
Having a real tough time of it. They need to commit to this res. Thundertalk have put pressure onto the east side beautifully. Like you mentioned, they rolled up nice and quickly. They finally took that opportunity to go on in. Sky launching those nade forwards. And actually, a lot of Thundertalk are close by to one another. As APG finding Falcons as well in the middle, on the east side rather than the Falcons will fall. They will be eliminated down in 12th place there. 11 of our teams remain. Yangon Galacticos, they've just been holding on that western side. They've been very, very chill, very relaxed on these engagements. They haven't managed to chime in. They got one Elim, and they are forcing other teams to fight off against one another, allowing them to do the dirty work for them. But now they're going to have to turn their attention to Red Fire, who are on a split.
No Fear, can he stand up? He's on fire, and he will eventually be dropped, and Hora is gone. I got a question. If they don't go for the 2-2 split, do they survive? If they're not focused on three teams simultaneously, would they have better luck? Well, we'll never know, unfortunately. For Yangon Galacticos finally pushing into the aggressive Ragnum Karya, who are getting taken down, running on fumes. Two players down and out. Ragnum Karya most likely going to be finished off in this moment. Only one player remains, and I don't see him currently. Actually, it's going to be Wild way off in the distance, so he's going to be a solo for the remainder of this game.
Yangon Galacticos can keep up pace now. They have two Elims on scorecard, and they will be 4 players alive after this res. Loxy will be flushed fairly soon, so a couple more points to be added to their tally in just a moment. Close by to DRX's duo. Up on the north side of this one, on the south edge, it's still Power. With 4 players alive, they're going to try and navigate their way on in around Weibo, who also have 4 players alive, but sending the buggy to the air, don't need that anymore, throws it aside, and instead they're going to take to the rubber soul or the boot and see if they can take the shots over towards Weibo.
You go back to the last game, Ragnar was trying to get these crazy off angles. He ends up getting punished this time around, not making that same mistake. He sticks with the full force unit of Power. Great shots from Easy, but better shots from Order from a distance.
able to shut down that hilltop, and this is go signal. They're going to crash straight on into this. Nice and aggressive, decisive play from Weibo. They're trying to encircle now the rest of Power. They know their backline's going to be fumbling, going to be faltering a little bit. We'll see if they can take control of it. 33Z, maybe a little bit overinvested here, as Weibo trying to connect onto Power. Will finally be able to find that second knock, and they can continue to run this one through. Sook is down, but this should be reasonable. Fadan doesn't have the pace on this.
Fadan, he throws bounces off the wall, manages to get away without burning himself. Fadin pushing up onto he. Now he needs to get here quickly. If he can get the finish before the res is in, it's going to be a 1v1, but the res will come through. You'd have to assume very quickly he refuses to commit, playing it safe, but maybe playing it a bit too safe, and now Weibo able to recover.
Teams are starting to drop like flies. We're down to 8 now, and I'm sure there's a couple more ready and waiting to go. A lot of solos still playing on into this one. Weibo playing 2v1 on the inside. Fadan is the last player to stand here for Power Esports. They've got one elim, and again, they are guaranteed a placement here with 8 teams remaining, but we'll see how much further they can go. The pump action, not going to be good enough. The DVS wins the day, and Weibo can stay up as 4 players.
There's value in playing passive, and what Fadin did wasn't necessarily wrong. However, you know you're last alive. Fully commit. There's it down in front of you. It's a 1v1. Swinging that choke point, swinging that angle is tough. I understand, but you just got to go for it. And if he would have, of course, he doesn't have X-ray vision, but if he would have, he most likely would have got the cleanup and been successful in that fight. And I can even say the same thing going to Nox from Red Force side of things with Benny. A little bit earlier in the day, there was a moment where I felt he needed to get aggressive, but he was just too undecisive. And because of that undecisiveness, he gets taken down. So there is power in being aggressive and full sending it, but he made the play that he made. Again, it wasn't necessarily wrong, but if he would have been aggressive, he most likely would have been able to win that fight and potentially even get the last remaining member up.
Alpha could really go some distance in this match. With APG putting pressure over towards DRX, the last remaining player for Alter Ego could sneak through the cracks potentially. Could be a bit of a wild card on that east side flank. Weibo playing as 4, they're all the way on the other side on the southwest. Yango Galacticos, they're behind APG's engagement on the north side. So not really too many massive threats on the east edge. Alpha actually gonna get a supply crate looted up as well as Order. Ooh, no, spotted. Weibo losing an off angle there, and very, very isolated from the rest of the roster. Gets caught unawares.
Still not a bad spot, though, for Weibo. Keeping Yangon Galacticus in check. APG, great spot overlooking DRX and Team Secret, which, let's highlight them, right? Team Secret, even though they only have a solo last alive, they did such a great job dismantling Horda a little bit earlier, 4 eliminations going their way, and the solo of Trank staying up is just huge, in my opinion. They should not be alive in this moment. They should not be fighting for a potential top 3 finish. But APG forced to go forward, and now DRX, who were being hunted down from APG, now could potentially gatekeep them. If they play this right, they could win this fight, but it's not going to be easy because they don't have the man advantage.
Hyunbin take a very, very low with a nade, cooked nicely. Has to get the knock, but they'll know there's a player on the inside there now. An APG with 4 players are wary of their south edge, but I don't imagine they expect Alva to be on this loot crate right now. Just trying to stay alive for Alter Ego. APG very reluctant actually to push all the way through this one.
It's tough. It's tough for DRX. I mean, because you know DRX is right in front, and they've got a great spot. Alva, I wonder if he gets a bit mixy. He's stayed alive for the longest time, and he's going to be able to take a peek over at Doc if he chooses to fire. But I think for him, he just wants to keep his head low and just go for top 3 if he possibly can. Aaron from Ida is going to be fully finished off. That'll be Ida out in 6th place. We're now down to our top 5. Things are starting to get spicy. APG on the move. DRX need to be ready.
Hyunbin first to face. Finally, Alva is dispatched, and that's going to open up the flank there. With top going down, looks like they want to commit for this res. Potentially very, very dangerous out in the open. I don't think you want to make this one work. So easy now with the SKS on the red dot. Okay, a little bit lackluster on the weaponry there potentially, but so easy. Only has his teammate Hyunbin there. Crawling away. They could look for this res, but I think Yango Galacticos aren't going to allow that one to happen.
Soez can truly help Yangon Galacticos in this moment, who are starting to come in. They're starting to close the vice grip, and if Soaz can take any members from APG down, that's only going to help the win for the side of Yangon Galacticos. Soaz will not be successful. Doc will win the fight, and it will be APG with a 4-man unit against the 4-man unit of Yangon Galacticos. Meanwhile, for Weibo, most likely getting finished off very, very shortly. You got one player who's going to be down. Yangon Galacticos going full send to victory.
They want this top spot to close out day one. 2 players fall at their feet. A smile just about threading the bullets either side of him. Major to dodge them, and Seoul goes down next. A spray down over towards Doc, and that is going to be it. It's curtains for Alpha Gaming. 3rd place in a pretty brutal fashion on the northeast side now. 2 players, sorry, just 1 player from Weibo to stand in the way of Yangon Galacticos. They will be up and over 60 points on the match. A beautiful result for them. Their day has been stellar. DRX as well, up and towards that podium again. Some really consistent performances at the top. They are going blow for blow.
Without a doubt, 4 out of their 6 games, they get top 3. A huge performance from DRX, who managed to take over 1st place, but only for a sliver of time. Yangon Galacticos most likely taking it over with that tremendous win. And, well, Yangon Galacticos, mind you, managed to get 1st place 2 times throughout our 6 games. Of course, game number 6 as well as game 2. We've been waiting for Yangon Galacticos to step it up, to finally wake up. I think they finally have.
This is brilliant stuff from Yangon Galacticos. They looked cool, calm, collected, dropping the shoulder, dropping the elbow, sinking the fist into the rib cage. It is nasty to come up against these guys in an all-out brawl, and they are happy to take those swings. A really solid flush over those hillsides. They come through late. They're waiting. They let everyone else sort out who will be the ones to take them on, and then they'll sweep them aside either way.
And you know what? They had a chance potentially to dismantle themselves if they do challenge into Team Secret, who ended up staying alive, and that could have got dicey because it was Team Secret as well as 2 other rosters who were fighting within that area. But Yangon Galacticos said, let's play this slow. Let's go for the placement points and get the eliminations when it